This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the UK's #1 coral selling website, coral-auctions.co.uk and reefdork.etsy.com for all your 3D printed aquarium accessory needs. What's up, YouTube? Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Prestige Reef Talk Show. What are we talking about today? Yeah, we're going to talk about how to make reef keeping easy. This is basically like the rules of the game. And if you stick to these rules, happy days. If you don't stick to them, sad days.
Yeah, that's one way to put it.
Yeah, basically, because there are some like fundamental rules, and we've done similar live streams about this before, but there are just like some fundamental rules that if you stick to, you will have success. And if you stray away from them, you're more like being attacked by a pterodactyl or something. It might be a moth. You're more likely to have issues. And this came about because I broke my, and the thing is, it doesn't, and this you can, it's easy to fall foul of this when you've been in the hobby for years. And because I broke one of the rules recently, I took the mesh cover off my tank, and a fish jumped out because that's one of the fundamental rules. You don't have no mesh cover.
I think after you've been in the hobby for a couple of years, complacency is your biggest enemy.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing that kills more fish than anything else for experienced fish or coral, experienced long-term reefers.
Yeah.
Lizzie, I agree with you. We missed the old camera angle.
No, it's
Lizzie and I, we don't like change.
I know, it's funny. I saw Lizzie yesterday at Reefkeeper.
Yeah, I heard. You said she wanted to come down, but I was too far. It wasn't worth it. So
yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Just,
so no, I understand. It's
she went to Signature Folks though, so you know.
yeah.
But yeah, so that's what we're going to be talking about. But we've got a good 45 minutes of total and utter fish nonsense first. So Ryan, you're the leading expert when it comes to talking rubbish. Say some things.
Thank you. Leslie just says straighten up the art. It's the camera. How many times do I have to say this? The lens on the camera is curved, so it makes the art look like it's not straight. With regards to my week in reefing, or just my week in reefing.
I just want to know words, Ryan.
Just words. Well, the most exciting thing that's happened to me today is that Alex came to the coral farm. Yeah. So that was the most exciting. We actually we went out to lunch. You know, that was exciting. Not like hugely interesting for people, but that's we had a gossip, didn't we?
Yeah, there wasn't really. I don't think there was much gossip though, was there? A little bit.
That's true. That's true.
Nothing exciting. Just general.
Alex did, however, buy some coral from me, which was nice.
I did. Yeah. So they're dipped and settling. I've put them in. Yeah. Do you know what? So I've got the frag section in the sump of my tank. It's got a dedicated section for frags, and that's so good. Corals look so good down there, actually. Weirdly, so I got my trackie. Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but
no, keep going because just keep going.
That trackie I bought not long ago when it was in the main display tank. It looked all shriveled up and it just looked a bit rubbish. It just wasn't happy. Yeah. So after a couple of months, I tried moving it to like the darkest, lowest flow spot I could do. No real change. And eventually I just thought, I'm just going to chuck it in the sump and see what happens. It went down there. I've not done a par test, so I don't know if it's much lower light. It's not high light, but it went down there and suddenly it's really, really happy. And so it'd been there for at least a month or two now. Really happy, really inflated, looking like a proper, like if you saw it in a shop, it doesn't, in shops, they always look kind of not receded, but just closed up. Whereas this is proper puffy. You wouldn't recognize it from the typical ones you see in a shop. It looks amazing. So last night I just thought, you know what? You're going to go back into the display tank because I want to see how you get on. And obviously when I picked up, it got a bit cheesed off. But I thought, overnight it'll be fine. Today, all day long, it's just been shriveled. And
really,
yeah, I don't know what it is, but
this is the same issue that is with the coral farm, where like in one section everything's happy, and then in that one in a different area in the same water, it's not happy.
Yeah. It's just I don't really understand it. The light is different and the flow, there's much less flow. I've got one tiny power head and I never clean it. And there's probably less par. It's almost exclusively blue as well. But it doesn't, and it's the area where calcrusher is dosed into, so it's probably potentially higher pH, but I doubt that's it. But just I don't know what it is. There's obviously no fish in there, so it could be that something's pecking at it, but I don't think that's it. But for whatever reason, the trackie looks amazing in the sump and just a bit, well, it just looks rubbish in the nice trackie. It's got nice colours, but it's not happy.
It's, as I said, it's weird. There's certain corals in the other system as well where they'll grow in one area, but they're not happy. So I have to like try to like relocate them around to find at the area which that species is happy in, and you never know why. Like, why is it like a foot to the left or 2 foot back that it makes a difference? But it just does.
And the problem is, no, I don't know about you. I don't place. Well, I do roughly place corals roughly where I think they'd like to be. So I've got a couple of. I bought another acro this weekend. I've got some acros in my tank that just is completely not suited for acros. But I put one right at the top because you're going to, aren't you? So I do that generally. But for the most part, I place corals where I want them. Like if it's completely not suitable, I won't put it there. But basically, I'm like, right, that's green, so I want to put it next to something red because it will look better. So I don't really like. I choose coral placement. My primary goal is where does it look best for me, and I don't care what you think, Coral. You can just make do with it and just cheer up, you know.
Well,
but you should move them around if they're not happy. To be fair,
it was interesting because the 3 pieces you bought today, I didn't expect you to buy. You bought a Montipora, which like they grow everywhere, which you don't like.
But it's a gold rush Monty.
And you also bought a Cephastria, which grows everywhere, which you don't like.
Yeah, but
actually, you bought 2 Cephastrias, didn't you?
I did. But all corals do that. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So
but they're quite fast-growing ones.
Yeah, they'll still take a while. But to me, with this tank, I don't really care if everything grows into each other. I don't really care. I want it to grow out, and I'm just going to be like, you know what? It'll grow out. If something gets too big, so be it. I'm not going to have an issue like in my last tank. Like 90% of the tank was Tropic Thunder. I'm not going to have that issue. But I just want everything to grow out. I don't really. I realize that I can't control that. Although I've got one chalice, I can't remember what it's called, Rasta chalice or something like that. That's already getting quite big, and that's going to be stinging stuff pretty soon. So I'm gonna have to start snapping bits off that. But I can just sell that, I guess. So it's weird though because I've got my watermelon chalice. I bought that, I don't know, 3 years ago probably as a frag. And I haven't fragged it once, and it's actually a pretty decent size now. It's not quite dinner plate size, but it's getting there. And that I don't want to frag. Whereas this the Rasta one, because it's a bit more average, now it's growing a tiny bit. I want to frag it straight away because I don't want it to grow. Which just
they're really easy to frag actually with a saw. So just obviously next time you're down, just bring it with you.
Off my finger.
You literally just snap bits off with your finger.
It gets really like goopy. Like,
do they survive when you do that?
That's not my problem. Do they survive? Yeah. So actually, the last time I've done that was the Stellaria chalice, which is an aggressive chalice, and some of them didn't.
You know, we're doing basic rules of reef keeping.
Well, so this is the thing, and this is so that I need to clarify then the basic rules of reef keeping apply to everybody. It's just that you're not allowed to break them when you're new to the hobby, and you can decide what that means by new to the hobby, but certainly in the first year. And there comes a point when you are allowed to break them. You still shouldn't, but you're allowed to start experimenting.
So but where does using your fingers to break off a bit of chalice come in that?
Well, that's fine because like I'm not doing that to help the coral. I'm doing it because I'm like it's not going to kill the mother colony. I can tell you that much.
No, I know that.
I just want to trim it back, so that's fine. But there are lots of things I do that I shouldn't do, and I know I shouldn't do them, and I still do them because I'm an idiot. Complacency, and because I'm an idiot. So. Yeah, idiocy.
I'm also interested to see what I mean. People in the comments can join in with this one because, and you should put your suggestions in now because like we won't get everything. So if there's a list of certain things that people should 100% do in their first year, and to some extent more than their first year, then by all means, like, feel free to chime in.
Actually, with fragging, so a lot of people are quite sensitive about how they frag corals. It sounds like you're quite precise. I mean, you've got a bandsaw, to be fair. So
Yes, that's the difference. Like, I wouldn't try doing it with my fingers. Let's put it that way. I can't imagine the frags survive if they're small ones.
I don't know, but for the my approach to fragging is just it'll be just crack it. Corals. If you, I used to be really careful. I'd be like, oh, I've got to get it in the exact right spot, and I'd use a little Dremel diamond blade or whatever. But now, like, what I do is I just rip those off the off the rock work and smash them onto a.
You're really selling yourself here for future future coral purchases.
But I sold a load of those this weekend. Actually, some of them came off the frag plugs in transit. A couple of them did, but for the most part, what I do and what is good for me buying frags off me is I let them settle for ages. So it's normally months, and then it doesn't really matter if it's been mashed up. It doesn't matter because it'll heal. But yeah, generally I just like with fragging, just crack on. There are some corals that really don't like it. You've got to be more careful with acros, a lot of them. But most corals, I think you can just well.
That's interesting. Why do you think the acros are more sensitive? Because I wouldn't have. They're the sort of coral
some acros, not all acros. Like, so the one I had in mind when I said that was ice fire echinata, which is like if you look at that remotely funny, or if you look at the coral next to it, but it thought you were looking at it, it's going to die. And if you try to frag it, it will instantly die. Within half a second. So
I'm going to need you to just keep talking for like 10 seconds. We'll close the door just because I can hear the fish tank. So, and you're quiet today for me.
Okay. So. You're right, Les. Acros are arseholes. I'm sure they do it to spite you. But yeah, all right.
Oh no, it's fine. No, as in I just want to close the door because I said you're quiet today, so I have to have like no sound in here.
I thought you were saying that there was a problem with the tank. You were hearing a buzzing sound that you don't normally hear.
Oh no. Okay, it's just the water going over the overflow. I can hear.
Yeah. Okay. But yes. So your tank's looking all right actually at the moment.
I know. Thank you. See, it looks. You said it as if like you're surprised.
I shouldn't sound surprised, should I? Yeah. But...
Alex and I had a discussion at lunch where. Like, I'm looking at the tank now, and so I'm not putting corals in it until after the new year, basically. So that and then in January, no matter what, it's going to get corals. It's decided now. But I just I don't want to have. I'm going to basically take a month off from doing this because I can't ship in December, and because I don't get any time off the rest of the year, I want to use this time to not do fish stuff, basically. So I don't want to add to the fish load just before that. So I've decided that in January I will 100% just blitz it and put coral in it. But I've been looking at the tank and going like, how many of these fish do I actually like? And how many of these fish did I just buy because they're kind of just fish that people have, if you see what I mean? And I don't know if I explained that correctly, but for example, like yellow tangs are nice, and I've had yellow tangs for a long time, and I'm probably going to upset loads of people because everyone loves the yellow tang, but it doesn't do anything for me anymore. And I felt like I've got it because I have to have it almost because a tank should have a yellow tang. I know yours doesn't. I know there's loads of people that don't, but it almost feels like I shouldn't be without it. But when I was looking at the tank the other day, thinking which of these fish, if I can only have 10 fish or 5 fish, which ones would I absolutely guaranteed to have? And at the bottom of that list, you go, well, which one of these do I actually not really like? So for me, as I said, it was the Assessor, the yellow tang, and the gem tang. I have them, but they don't really do anything for me anymore. Whereas things like the king eye, the multi-bar, even the clownfish they make me feel something, which is a weird thing to say, but you know what I mean, don't you?
I think so.
It's like, as I said to you, you wouldn't get rid of your hawkfish, wouldn't you? Would you?
No. Yeah.
And if it died, would you replace it?
Yes.
That tells you that's a fish that you definitely want.
This is a yellow assessor, by the way, the upside down looking one. It's funny. So that's a quality marine photo, and we all know quality marine take the best photos. Looks amazing there. Yours looks more like this kind of a bit.
That's
like,
a different fish. That's
like
not an assessor.
Okay. Oh yeah, fork-tailed pygmy basslet. Anyway,
yeah, it's like mimicking one. It looks like
looks like that. It looks faded.
Yeah.
It looks a bit boring. Maybe
it was because it's because I've had it for a long time now. So I think I've had it for years. And obviously, fish, generally speaking, go duller when as they get older. And that one definitely was really, really bright when I first got it. It's weird when you see them in the fish shop; they're almost always upside down. I never, ever, ever see her upside down ever.
I wonder if that's a defense mechanism, like a prey response. Like,
how does that help? No, I'm going to get eaten. Let's turn upside down.
Because it will confuse me. But like, because when you see, like back in my freshwater days, I was desperately wanted a tight shoaling fish, and every time I saw like there was a gold tetra, I think it was called, and there were a bunch of them in the shop. I'd never seen such a tight shoaling fish in my life. I was like, amazing. Get them, and you get them back in your tank, and they all spread out, and it's because they're stressed and they want to stay together. So that's like their response when they because I think they're going to be eaten. So I wonder if and fish often do that when they're in holding tanks effectively. So I wonder if that's it.
What's interesting, I say she, so like I always refer to the assessor as a she for some reason. She was one of my favorite fish originally, and I used to tell everyone that every tank should have an assessor because they're peaceful and they're brightly colored and they're interesting. Occasionally she'll go upside down in a cave, but generally speaking, she's not, and she's friendly, like she's swimming out in the open. Whereas now she's on the list of fish that I'm like, meh, nah, I wouldn't get another one.
Really?
So it's funny how our taste changes over time. Because at one point she went from being a fish I really, really like to a fish I now don't particularly have that much interest in.
That happens a lot with me, and I all the time actually. But there are some that do. You're right. Some that stay the course. So you've got plenty in your tank that you still really like. So actually, the one fish that stood out for me, you've got your king eye angel, which was an expensive fish. It was a 4-figure fish, and that to me it's okay. But
it's okay. That's like my favorite fish, and it's not my favorite fish because it's expensive. It's my favorite fish because it looks like no other fish. Show me any other fish that has tiger stripes. Just one.
But yeah, boring. But actually, the multi-bar angel kind of got stripes.
That's zebra stripes.
Okay. Either way, the multi-bar to me is like, and you had a copper band in there as well, which is a beautiful fish. But that multi-bar was like chef's kiss. That is, and it's bigger than it was. It's still pretty small, like a 10p coin or a quarter if you're American, that kind of size. But it's just a beautiful fish, really nice fish.
It's interesting because why is the king eye boring to you? But that fish is literally just black and white stripes.
It's yellow, but the king eye is brown.
Did you say it's yellow?
Yeah, it's got a little yellow underbelly.
Oh yeah, that might be true. I'm like, wait, maybe he is colorblind.
Not colorblind.
It'll be interesting to see how big it gets.
That fish is brown. Look,
that fish is brown. Look, I don't know. I just, as I said, there's something about that fish that I just really, really like.
They've got quite a grumpy face as well.
Yeah, I think also that it has character. That's what I like about it. It's like it interacts with you. Like it knows when food's coming. Whereas at the moment, the multi-bar probably will do the same thing. Although sort of dwarf angels are, I know it's a not quite a dwarf angel because it's kind of it's like a half dwarf angel. They are a bit more stick close to the rock work and don't interact with you as much. So
just yellow, just saying.
Yeah. Just a little bit, mostly black and white, but
a big splash yellow. They for me, they are an amazing fish. I love.
I'm assuming JJS is talking about the fish that you just put up when he's written boring fish.
No, he'll be talking about the king eye.
No. That came up literally.
I'm happy that you like it. JJ, tell us. I'm happy that you like it. I'm happy for you.
I know JJ is talking about the king eye.
if you were if you offered me a king eye angel for £5, I'd spend the £5 on a can of Coke or something.
No. I actually, I wanted to ask your opinion. Remember I spoke to you about earlier about the personified angel, because I wanted to. That's another one where you're going to say is ugly, I reckoned, or boring. But when you actually see him,
right.
when you see him in person, they're like velvet black. Now I don't know how that will look in a tank that's like got coral in it, but it's actually a really, really nice fish.
That is that looks like he swam too fast and hit his face into the glass and like just smushed his face up.
I feel like I have a problem with black and white fish.
Yeah, you do.
Where I only want black and white fish.
That's an awful fish. It's like
why?
Fish, just boring. It's got a tash look as well.
I'm telling you that when you see them in person and they're like as big as your hand, they're nice. The black on them is like the blackest black.
I don't really like it. For the most part, I don't like angels, certainly bigger angels. I like the bright, colourful dwarf angels.
Yeah.
But most bigger angels, I'm not really that bothered about. The Emperor is probably an exception, but
and the Regal.
They're quite small though, aren't they? They're not a dwarf, but they're halfway between a large and a dwarf. Small, large.
I have realised now that I just like fish that I hardly ever see. If you show me a fish that I hardly ever see, and it doesn't even need to be brightly coloured or anything, I'm like, yep, give that to me.
How come you haven't got a geometric pygmy perchlet then?
Not for me.
No?
Awesome. I know you like them, but I just they're I don't know. Just if I'm gonna have because it's basically a hawkfish, isn't it? If I'm gonna have one of those, I'll have an actual hawkfish.
I think technically it's either an anthias or a grouper or something like that. But yeah, it's basically it acts like a fish.
Yeah, acts like one. Yeah, they just don't do it for me.
Okay, but you don't see it, so.
Yeah. No, I mean when I say don't see it, as in I'm not talking about in the tank. I'm talking about just generally, like speaking, you don't see them.
Yeah, I think that's you don't see many pygmy perchets in the hobby. I don't think.
Well,
anyway, I'm not.
Each to their own.
Yeah, it's a type of anthias.
I'll have to ask JJ for his opinion on your fish then. Now that he's the official what is it, umpire or adjudicator.
Yeah. Okay. And those photos were on Live Aquaria. More on that in the news later.
Yes. Yeah. True.
What else, Ryan? What else?
I don't know. As I said, I'm basically just winding down, like with regards to the coral farm. I am getting new corals in, but not as quickly and as much as I have been getting recently. Mm-hmm. And it purely comes down to I have basically 21 days. Yeah. God. I have 21 days to anything when it comes to coral and having a farm. Now I know that you'll go, well, people keep corals all the time. There is a die-off amount in a coral farm. Like when you're dealing with like tens of thousands of corals, you know how in your tank you might have like 50 corals and you might lose a couple of them. Well, if you times 50 by the amount of corals that I have, those two turn into a lot more than two. And sometimes it can be, you can have frags of a genetically identical coral all right next to each other. You can have 10 frags and you can have them for ages. And for whatever reason, one of those of the 10 just randomly die. Yeah. So anything that if I'm not selling at the same rate I normally am, it's better to reduce the stock levels, which is what I found every single year. Which is why I put the discount code out in November. Because it reduces the stocking levels. Anything that's not here,
still a discount code live.
Yeah, I'm literally just going to leave it up for I don't know how long I'll leave it up for.
Discount 20, all capitals.
Yeah. You don't need to keep telling people, but I appreciate it.
I'm just putting it in the chat. You've also just put it in the chat.
Yeah, I know. I
didn't know you had, but yeah, it's so funny that because they're literally next to each other, and one's I know. I've had enough.
Yeah, and so I think that's what people don't speak about with regards to owning a shop or a coral farm or whatever. When you're dealing with living animals, sometimes some of them don't survive, and if they don't survive, that cuts into your profit. It's as simple as that. Mm-hmm. And if you're buying a coral, let's say the coral costs £100, and then obviously you're meant to you go on to sell it. If you don't sell it, that £100 coral it's just come straight out of your profit, and all of the £20 corals that you sold, it's taken that profit with them, if you see what I mean. So that's why it's better to reduce it. And also, I said to you earlier, I'm thinking about like draining down one of the systems completely, and it's been running 7 years now. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said then.
I've come around to that idea now.
Oh yeah, you have come around to the idea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's been running 6 years, and I just think like you can. It's time I feel like to have a real deep clean is what I want to do.
Drain it, fill it with water, bleach it, start again. Or...
Yeah. I'm not sure about bleaching it. Yeah. I just because that's a little bit overkill. What am I trying to get rid of with bleach? If you see what I mean. Yeah. Like, but just draining it down, getting all of the pumps, taking them all apart, cleaning them. I better put them back together. And having worked for 6 years with no maintenance, hell, then won't work again. And I just completely drain it down, get everything so it's like brand new, and start again. Because I do feel like over time, they call it like old tank syndrome. Yeah. Things do start to like crop up in. And I think, and so remember, there's some things that don't show up on an ICP test, isn't there?
Yeah.
So, for example, actually, I wanted to ask you did you send that test off in the end?
I did.
Have you got the results?
I have.
I see that. Why are we listening to me? That's actually interesting.
It's not that interesting.
Is it nice to come back saying everything's fine?
Mostly, but let me tell you what. I'll show you. So, how do you get that back on screen? Here we go. Right. So, hang on a second. So I got my address on it. Let me just get rid of that for a second. No, it's got their address on it. It's just got my name. That's all right. Don't mind that. Right. Anyway, right. So,
if anyone wants his address, you just let me know. I'll send over.
I know. Yeah. So it goes. So yeah, this is actually just for those of you who weren't watching last week. Oh, by the way, I've put the chat in subscriber only mode this week. So you have to be a subscriber to comment. I think you've got to have been subscribed for 5 minutes. So just subscribe, and then if you really just hate the idea of being forced into subscribing, just unsubscribe when you've commented. Yeah. But stay.
Or you can go on my channel and no one will see your comments.
Exactly. Anyway, for those of you who are new and who whatever. Anyway, this was the Oceamo. What was it called? Organo MS test. It's called. So they gave me a free ICP test. Basically, it's an Organo MS test. Actually, I saw how much it cost. Guess how much it cost?
I'm assuming it's a lot because you're shocked by
25 quid is an ICP normally, 30 maybe.
Yeah. They used to be 60 though, an ICP.
Yeah.
I think that price has come down purely because there's more people doing it these days.
So how much do you think an Oceano?
I'm going to say probably like 60 to 80.
85.
Oh, it's close.
And really, you need to do two. You need to do one to establish a baseline, and then two after you've made changes to see what happens. Yeah. But anyway, it's a niche test. I don't think they'd mind me saying that. To be fair, not everyone's gonna be running out to doing this. But I was really interested to see what came back, and actually, I'm glad that nothing on here is nasty.
But you were slightly disappointed. Because
if something comes back, you're like, oh, I'll just fix that, and then all my problems go away. Yeah. But anyway, let me show you. So, do you know what? Actually, I'm going to scroll past that because that was all the bad stuff, and I'll come back onto that. So, but this is, do you know what? It's stop. Why is that scrolling? Stop scrolling. Hang on a second. Oh, for heaven's sake. Right. Technical issues. Okay. So the interesting thing about this is that it tests for all sorts of weird stuff. It's not a normal ICP test. It tests for weird stuff. Yeah. This section, herbicides and pesticides.
Yeah.
So if you live near a farm, then get one of these because it's all these things in here. Atrazine, carbetamide. I've got no idea what any of this is. I'm just trying to look and see if there are some that are quite common. I don't recognize any of those. Anyway, I had no pesticides and no herbicides, which is good.
If you do live near a farm and you do use one of these tests, though, and it does show up in your tank, move because you're breathing that stuff in as well.
It's true. Maybe this would come up if you're using Vibrant.
Yeah.
Anyway, marine toxins, palytoxin, 0. Domoic acid.
Interesting.
Never heard of domoic acid. But so I have Zoas, but none of them are bleeding, I guess.
Okay.
More pesticides. All the Fosmet, dichlorvos, carbaryl, diazinon, acephate. I don't know. I'm going to stop because I can't pronounce half of these. Yeah, but all this stuff, all this weird stuff. MGK264. No idea. But really weird stuff. Unfortunately for me, this all comes back as 0. Antibiotics, ciprofloxacin. So if you put a Cipro in your tank, now you can go and test. Metronidazole. Oh, that's for Brooklynella, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, that could be interesting. Maybe. Anyway,
chloroquine's there as well. So some of this actually is useful for treating fish.
Isn't citalopram for like UTIs or something? I'm sure.
Not sure.
I'm sure I've seen citalopram somewhere before. Fenbendazole, fluconazole, ibuprofen, praziquantel, which is Prazipro. Yes, so lots of weird stuff there. Again, all 0, which is great. Plasticizers / plastic additives. Now I've got some of this. So some things in here like benzyl butyl phytolate and then bisanthif. I don't know. So there are some in there. And I did wonder, because I've got some 3D printed stuff in my tank. I did wonder if any of these might be related to 3D printed stuff. But I've also got loads of plastic, just because my stuff's made of plastic or acrylic or whatever, isn't it? So who knows?
Have you Googled to see if the filament is made from that stuff?
Well, it's polylactic acid. No, it's not. It's PETG, whatever that is. What does PETG stand for? PETG. It stands for glycol modified polyethylene terephthalate. Terephthalate. So that is not there. So,
but that is what isn't. Well, it says bispen terephthalate.
Yeah, but there are different types of terephthalate. But anyway, so I don't think it's that.
Yeah.
But and all the levels back here anyway are low, so it's not reading harmful, because it gives you a rating, so it would give you a red, amber, green. Environmental contaminants, oxybenzone, whatever that is, none. Preservatives. What else was there? Forever chemicals. Don't know what that is, but I haven't got any.
I think they're the ones that don't degrade.
Yeah, okay. But anyway, so that's all. Hang on, just get a mute for a second. Just need to cough. That's all the stuff that came back 0. The stuff that did come up with some with low ratings was all vitamins and amino acids. And that's probably not a surprise, because I don't dose aminos, or I dose a tiny bit every now and then. But loads of this stuff. And this was, so people always talk about amino acids. You dose aminos, and no one actually knows what that means, or like 99% of us don't anyway. And this tells you what it means. It means taurine, serine, glutamic acid, aspartic acid, all these other things, glutamine, glycine, alanine, all that stuff. So these are the ones that it tests for. I don't know if these are the limit. These are all the ones that you find in a reef tank. Probably not. But these are the ones it tests for. And also vitamins, so riboflavin. I think humans need that. Humans probably need all of this, but that's interesting. So
I think that riboflavin is vitamin B.
D? Yeah, sorry, riboflavin.
I think it's vitamin B.
Flavin. Riboflavin is vitamin B2. Yes.
Yeah, because I have tablets for that. I get them prescribed because I have really, really low vitamin B2.
There you go. Well, you can do.
So I was like, I'm sure I recognize that one word in this whole sheet.
That's aspartic acid. I've heard of before. That's in food, I'm sure. Anyway, glutamine as well, glycine. A few of them I recognize, but not many. But anyway, all that tells me is that's all. And some of them it says, like, gives me a red low, so critically low, I guess. So that tells me I should be dosing amino acids. So what I probably should do is dose amino acids and then send off another one a week later, because I don't know if you can work out how much you need to dose. I don't know. But I should dose amino acids, send off another one, and then see what it comes back with. But I'm not really into the whole like tinkering here and there with tiny little bits of everything.
You're not into tinkering. I've never met anyone who tinkers more than you with stuff.
No, I love a tinker, but I don't like pixel peeping with things like I don't do ICP tests and then go and dose 0.5 ml of this, 1/4 ml of that. So, but that was interesting that it shows the aminos are low.
Yeah,
for what it's worth. Although that's against the rules of this. Of the game.
True. And how do they know is that just the? I'm assuming the sea must have a set amino acid aminos level. I don't know.
I suppose, yeah, that would make sense if they've tested seawater.
Yeah.
And but I don't know how they know that. The guy who the scientist at Oceamo is a clever bloke, German scientist. I've forgotten his name now. Chris, can't remember his name, but he's a clever bloke. So I assume he's done some research.
Yeah.
So
because I can't imagine they look at what corals need. If you like you see what I mean? Like how can they work out? It's not like with a dog where you can test its blood to see if it's low or a human, which means the only reference point must
you can
be
test
seawater.
tissue.
Yeah,
I don't know. I've got no idea. But anyway, Christoph Denk, that's the one. Christoph, yes, yeah. But forever chemicals are things like non-stick in the bit in non-stick pans. Interesting. Austrian. Oh, apologies. Yeah. So there you go. Anyway, that came back. No weird stuff in the tank, and just some low amino acids and stuff. But it was interesting. I was disappointed but pleased that I didn't have anything weird in there. So
yeah, it's only because it's almost like you can go, oh, if I fix that, everything will be amazing.
Exactly. You always want just the one thing. You're like, oh, that's it. It's not. It's it's not something that I'm never going to work out. It's
See, I actually do live next to a farm, don't I?
Oh, really?
Like, yeah, there's a mushroom farm across the road.
Ah, okay. Well,
Occasionally, it just stinks terribly. So
yeah, it does.
But that's the only like
Yeah.
thing that suggests there's a farm there.
Yeah.
But and obviously I have ventilation, so like specifically pulling air into the coral farm all the time. So it might actually be worth like doing one of those for me, or interesting.
So Andrew Oliver makes a good point, and he says it's a lot of money, but worth doing if you've got a problem in your tank and you've tested everything. So that is, I think, most people aren't going to buy one of these as like, right, let me just first port of call. You're going to go, you'll test all your basic parameters, you'll send off an ICP test, you'll do all the usual stuff, you'll check all your pumps, make sure they're not rusted or whatever, and then you'll be like, right, you know what, I can't work it out, let me send that off.
Yeah.
And then it will come back blank, and you'll be like, "Oh, for God's sake, bloody hell!"
Yeah, I wonder how many people are doing this. Is yours the first test that's ever gone in?
Yeah, there's just a bloke sat in a lab, like falling asleep, and then someone knocks on the door. We've got samples. Oh my God, quick go! I don't know. Maybe it's more popular. I've got no idea.
Yeah,
but there you go. That was my test.
Did it come back quickly?
I think it was about a week.
Okay. Does it get sent away somewhere then, or is it in the UK?
It's Germany. Oh,
okay.
Germany. It might be Austria. Grafendorf. Where's Grafendorf? Schulstrasse. Let me have a look. Oh, wherever Austria. Oh, it is Austria. Okay, so they're an Austrian company. So there you go. Yeah, it gets sent off to Austria. It was about a week, something like that. Date of sampling, 27th of October, and it came back. Where's the date on the email? 7th of November. Let me have 27th of October. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4. A week and 4 days. 10 days, basically. So there you go. Which is relatively quick for a test like that, I think.
You wonder if, you know how sometimes the corals just randomly die?
Yeah.
And you can have them for ages. And then, what's like RTN?
Yeah. Or STN.
Or STN, yeah. You wonder if it could be something to do with those. Like you...
I think if I wouldn't do that as a general, I'm not going to go and buy another one basically with my own money, and I wouldn't incorporate into a regular routine. But if I'd exhausted everything else and I just couldn't go anywhere with it, then I think that's the sort of thing that I would pony up for and say, you know what, because 90 quid, it's a lot of money for including postage. It's a lot of money for a test. But in the scheme of things, if you're losing corals, it's nothing.
It's not well. Yeah, if it's for me, for example, that's not. It's worth it because it protects thousands of pounds of corals.
Yeah. But there you go.
Yeah. Well, how did you get that anyway?
So they sent me the AquaWiz. So I contacted them and said,
look,
it's the same. It's a distributor, I think. I contacted them and said, so I don't generally ask people to send me stuff as a general rule. I've done that a few times recently, but as a general rule, I prefer just to let people, if you want to send me something, that's fine, you can do. So I don't tend to ask, but I got this, I said before, the AquaWiz, I spoke to a bloke who had one and he raved about it. And at that point, I was like, okay, that's it. I need to get one of these. So I messaged them and said, look, do you want to send me one? And he asked if I wanted an organo MS test. I said, it's probably not really my thing, but maybe in the future or whatever. And they sent me one anyway. And so if I've got it, I might as well send it off.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm not going to make a video on it.
I need 3, so
Yeah, exactly. You've got to upload videos to YouTube first, right?
That's true. That's where
you're going wrong. Actually, I'll give you an update on the AquaWiz as well, whilst I'm here. So, hang on. Excuse me, cough today. So the last week I wasn't enjoying the setup process. It turned out I was following the wrong setup process. That's why. So I sat down on Saturday night and I found a load of videos, and I've got the Gen 4 apparently, which I didn't realize. If you've got one with a blue door, it's the Gen 4, and the other one's a Gen 3, and that's why it was different. So I followed this guide. It's a weird guide. I don't know if the voice is AI generated. I presume so, but it gives you all the steps. It was still a little bit fiddly, and there were a couple of steps where I was sat there thinking, well, I've done it and nothing's happening, and then suddenly I'd press something else and it would work. So it was still a little bit fiddly, and because it's kind of, I don't know, it's not like a European or American product, it's not very easy to understand. But to be fair, actually setup wasn't that hard. I just had to set aside half an hour, watch the video and do it, and it was fine. So setup done. I've now got it running. It's been testing all day today, and it's so far really impressed. So it's a little bit difficult to give you. Oh, it's logged me out. That's annoying. Let me just see if I can log back in. Hang on.
Do you think that this will have other manufacturers of alkalinity testers shaking in their boots? Is what I want to know.
Honestly, so it's too early to say, right? I've had it up and running for 24 hours.
Okay.
So take what I'm about to say with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
But if it is so far, it's accurate. It was 0.2 DKH out on the first test. Yeah. But I was testing. I started by testing with a jug of salt water from like 2 days ago. So the test result was probably different. And then I put it into so I haven't actually checked against the tank properly yet. Yeah. But it's pretty close. Anyway, I think it will probably be more or less right when I go to test it. But at the moment it's pretty accurate. Excuse me.
Is it how does it compare with the other forms of alkalinity testing that you do?
The only other one I've got is the HANA checker.
Oh, so you don't have a continuous one? Because you had a Reef bot, not a Reef bot, a Reef Factory. I thought who was the company that went bust?
Reef Factory.
Reef Factory. I thought they had one, didn't they?
I threw it away.
Okay.
But I did have one of those. But I'd say I tested against the HANA checker. The HANA checker said 7.1. The first test with the AquaWiz said 7.3. But that was, I hadn't filled it with the tank water properly. I had samples in the tank water, but I hadn't done it properly. So I'm going to leave it to run for a couple of days and then check it again, because that's what you're supposed to do with all of these anyway. They bed in. But so far, if it works well, it is potentially, there are some companies that sit back and wait, like Red Sea do this. They sit back and they watch other companies make a new product, like a filter roll or whatever. And they sit back and let everybody else make mistakes, and they take their time to work out, and then eventually they'll bring one out. So they're not just making another product just so they can have one on the shelf. They take their time and make it good. If this works the way it seems it works, and again, we're talking 24 hours of experience, but if it works the way it seems it works, this is what I would expect everybody to copy, because you need no reagent. No calibration. I've set it up. You don't calibrate it when you're setting it up at all.
Yeah.
There's no wastewater, and it can run as often as you like. The DAT is a bit noisy. It is a bit noisy. So it's got air stones. If you've ever had air stones in a freshwater tank, they go, they make a buzzing noise, and it does that for a solid 20 minutes. So you don't
20 minutes is nothing in the grand scheme of things. Like, it might be if it's running when your favorite TV show's on.
If you're sat there every evening, because you can set it to test as often or as little as you want, more or less. But if it's testing every hour and you're trying to watch TV, it's going, your missus is going to slap you. True. You can set it. What you can do is set it. I've set it so it goes to sleep at 5 o'clock at night and it wakes up at 8 in the morning. So then when we're in the same room as the tank, you never hear it. So it just tests when I'm not there, and if which is a shame because I would like to get results throughout the day, but I'll be able to hear it upstairs. I know I will. But apart from that,
East Coast Reefer said he's not convinced.
he's
I'm
not
intrigued.
convinced.
Let us know why. Have you got one? Well, I'm gonna let us know in the comments. Have you got one?
So look, I've had it 24 hours, so I'm not convinced either. But if it works the way it says it does, and it genuinely works, the only thing you need to do is replace the pH probe when it dies, which is pH probe lasts what, a year, 18 months. Now I don't know.
Have you searched how much that costs?
Oh, a pH, you can use any pH probe. So
any. Oh, okay.
50 quid, 100 quid if you want to go fancy.
Yeah.
But in theory, and I don't fully understand how it works, magic, I think. But in theory, if it works the way it says it does, then someone should make the same thing, but make it look nicer. Yeah. Give it an app, because it has a web app. So the web app's a bit rubbish. You're never going to be able to make it quiet because air stones are just noisy. But if you made it look nice, you gave it a better app and interface and all that sort of stuff, then it would be brilliant. But again, just let me get used to it. It might break tomorrow.
Yeah, true.
But so far, I've been. I when I first saw it, I dismissed it. I just thought it looks rubbish. It looks like a cheap AliExpress kind of project, basically. Not interested. Yeah. But it was only when I spoke to someone who told me how good it was that I started to see past that. And now I've got it, even though it's like a janky setup. You don't really care about that, because if it works as well as it does, and it is like all of the stuff I've had before, when you first set them up, there's a little bit of a bed in time, and it takes a bit of you've got to calibrate everything. It's a bit of a faff. Whereas with this, just straight off the bat, didn't even calibrate it. I didn't realize you didn't need to, but didn't calibrate it, and straight away, bang, 0.2 out. But feedback.
It sounds promising. It does. It sounds promising, and as it's the most important parameter, like
apart from salinity.
Pardon?
Apart from salinity.
Yeah, look, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
it's the one that
the thing that the reason I know that this is potentially exciting is because you've been talking to me about this and you've been listening for the last 10 minutes.
I know, and I've not zoned out, and because I'm genuinely interested, because
you even asked me today when I came to see you. I was like,
no, I know, because I was like, how it seems like magic, as you said. This is what everyone wants as from an auto tester is literally one that you turn it on and it just works, and you don't do any maintenance, and you don't do any anything at all with it. That's what people want, and I feel like I could accept replacing the pH probe, because if you think about the cost of the reagents that I go through, for even with the Hannah check, I remember I'm doing 3 tests every week, and those reagents I think have 15 tests in them, so it's
25,
not.
And they're 25.
Oh, 20, yeah. So they don't last a huge amount of time for me.
No, I bet. But that's the thing. So if it works that well, then great. But we'll see. Remains to be seen. But I think the way it works, and this is again, I don't really understand it, but I think it's got 2 tubes. It knows the test result from one because it's tested it already.
Yeah.
And so it fills them both up with the sample. It fills up the new one with the sample of water. It injects oxygen or air into them, so it degasses, gets rid of the CO2, and then it measures the pH difference. And then it knows, because pH and alkalinity are related, and it knows what the alkalinity is based on the difference before and after, or something like that. And it's got the previous test as a reference. But I don't fully understand how it works. It's something like that. Very simple, but also someone clever has sat down and worked that out.
You really are testing my
okay, I'm pushing it now. All right.
My attention now, aren't you?
we'll move on then. But so far, looks janky, but don't write it off just because it looks a bit funny.
Prime Coral say he's got someone who uses it as well, who loves it. So
there you go, 1,000-litre system.
There you go.
You do calibrate it. You don't calibrate it. You reference it. Yeah, exactly. So you do.
Is that just once, or is that monthly, or is that?
You don't even have to do that. But what you're supposed to do, what it says you're supposed to do, is it always says it's optional. You do a test on a piece of equipment you trust. So mine would be a Hannah checker.
Yeah.
And then you tell it what that result is, and then it's like, right, okay, I've now got that reference point, so I'll base it from there on. But when I say calibrate, I mean normally if you've got an automatic alkalinity tester, you've got to calibrate the dosing pumps, make sure it's measuring the same amount. You've got to calibrate the pH probe to pH 4 and pH 7, and
Yeah.
and then you've got to calibrate the reagent pump to make sure it's dosing the right amount and all that sort of stuff. There's none of
Too
that.
many moving parts. That's the problem
Yes,
with all these testers. There's too many things that can either go wrong, affect the test, or like that you have to maintain.
See that, and they all drift over time, and it might be that this drifts over time and it's no different to anything else. But if it doesn't, happy days. Then that is the holy grail that we've been searching for since the first one came out at Macna, whenever it was.
Yeah, 2018. I remember.
2018.
I was there.
Yeah. But anyway, I'll come back. I'll come back and feedback because I don't know anything about it. I've not really done. I just set up and I've turned it on. So
yeah,
there we
interesting.
go. Have you been up to anything else, Ryan? Oh, I'll tell you what. Actually, I'm gonna overrule that. I've done some research this week.
Okay.
So I've gone back down and look. I want you to guess. I've got 2 guessing games for you. Okay. So first, this is all about YouTube channels in our hobby that have got 100,000 view videos. Okay. Because what I've done is I've gone back over the last 12 months, excluding shorts, because shorts don't count.
Yeah.
Excluding shorts over the last 12 months to see how many 100,000 view videos there are. So first off, just to give you like some context, right? My channel in total has 25 videos with 100,000 views or more, which actually I thought that was not bad. And then I went and looked up BRS.
And it's like all of them.
First guess how many, 25 for my channel, which is actually not bad. Guess how many BRS have got 100,000 view videos or more over the life of their channel?
50.
289.
I wanted to pick 100 and 120. And I was like, wait, that's got to be too high.
300 videos with 100,000 views. So there you go. That's the kind of numbers we're talking about. Okay. But anyway, so that's over the lifetime, and that was 52 weeks of reefing and all that sort of stuff. But so what I want you to do now is guess which channel, and I'm going to give you 5 options. Which channel over the last 12 months has the most videos with 100,000?
Is this just going to be you, and you're just telling everyone it's you?
I'm one of the options, and tell me how many you think the winner has got. So the options are, and do this as well in the chat. So the question is, I'm going to give you 5 channels. Tell me which channel you think has the most 100,000 view videos and how many you think it's got. Number 1 is BRS. Number 2, Worldwide Corals. Number 3, Reef Builders. Number 4, Tidal Gardens. And number 5, our very own Reef Dork. Which of those?
I feel like it's going to be Worldwide Corals.
Why did you say that?
Fan hasn't put out as many videos as he used to, so I'd be surprised if it was him. I'm not sure how many people are actually watching BRS anymore.
Yeah,
is the honest answer. If it's in the last 12 months, I think their viewing has significantly dropped since Ryan left.
So first guess was 220. I'm talking in the last 12 months, not overall.
Yeah,
it's not 220.
I reckon. I'm going to say Worldwide Corals. Although I'm only saying that because of those people, they're the ones I've watched the video of, like 3 of their videos.
I'm quite insulted because you didn't say Reef Dork, and no one in the chat said Reef Dork.
I hope for your sake that it's not you.
It is not me by a long way. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not me at all. And actually, Worldwide Corals was my assumption as well. But so how many do you think Worldwide Corals have got then? 100,000 view videos in the last 12 months. If they're
this is too many questions.
How many? 5?
I'm going to say 5.
5. 0.
Okay. Not Worldwide Corals then.
BRS, 0. Reef Dork, 0. Reef Builders, 0. Tidal Gardens,
1.
0.
So
Inappropriate Reefer, 0. Parker's Reef, 0. Yorkshire Reefer, 0. Prestige Reef, 0.
Definitely 0 videos put out.
Yeah, Reef Dudes, 0. No one has got in the last 12 months has got 100,000 view videos except for 2 channels.
Yeah.
One of them was Danny's Aquarium.
You didn't include those on the list.
No, I know, but I'm making a point because those are the 5 biggest channels, or more or less. I'm making a point. So Danny's Aquarium, to be fair, that's one of the biggest channels. And he has 1 video with 100,000 views in the last 12 months. and that was 500,000 views. It was that Paludarium, which is a different one. And the other channel with 100,000 views in the last 12 months, Backyard Ocean, that guy who's got a 16-foot reef tank.
Really?
And he's got 3.
Has he?
Yeah, but that's because it's just crazy, and it's like it's.
No, I know. It almost feels like it should not be possible, that tank.
Yeah, completely. Like
there's so much.
Yeah,
there's just everything from like, what does he do with regards to like the heating and the cooling at different times, to how does he stop the fish from getting eaten by predators? Because it's a thing. So,
but yeah, so basically nobody is getting. Backyard Ocean is a one-off, so that's different. Yeah. And Danny's Aquarium, basically, fair play, one big video. It's an Amazon delivery. There's someone knocking at the door. I wonder who it was. But basically, nobody is getting big views anymore. And 100,000 views, that's a lot. And there aren't many channels that do that regularly. And I've always struggled to do that, to be fair. But it's not so many that it's crazy. And the point I'm making is that I think that our hobby, reefing on YouTube, is in the doldrums a bit. And it's just not as popular as it was a couple of years ago, even. Worldwide Corals are the one. They're doing. I think they're doing the best videos at the moment. They're interesting. They've got the beardy bloke, Josh. I always forget his name. Yeah, Josh, who does the interesting. This is how you keep corals. He gives it to you straight. He gives you advice, and then they do all the tank tours, which are really good. But basically, nobody else is getting. Not even WWC. No 100,000 view videos. I was surprised at that. I thought they'd have some.
Yeah.
But nobody's getting big views.
I quite like the Backyard Ocean guy.
Yeah,
you're about to be offended because I'm like, Alex, I don't need to watch your videos, but this random dude that's got this insane tank, I'm like, every so often I'll just put one on, and they're not like, it's just a guy just with his phone, isn't he? Just like going, this is my tank and this is what I do. It's not like he's not trying to be anything else other than exactly who he is.
And this, you might find this interesting. Here you go. Yeah, he's not like.
I feel like that's why people relate to him, because I don't watch it to find like really, really like detailed information, but it's more like his is like a tank vlog, isn't it? But on like an insane level. And generally speaking, tank vlogs don't do that well, but his ones are like, people love them.
Yeah, totally. But the reason that he and Danny's Ocean, the Paludarium, did well is because they're so different. And it's something new and something amazing, right? So that's a wow factor kind of thing.
Yeah.
But I don't know where people are going. People obviously aren't. The videos that used to work, I really like making, like at the moment I'm making top 5 soft corals and top 9 fish. I like those fish inspiration videos. I like watching them. I like making them. But they don't get big views anymore. They used to, but they don't anymore. So the stuff that used to get big views doesn't anymore. And I wonder if a lot of people are going elsewhere, and people don't want short, snappy things. People like more in-depth, something completely unusual, or more in-depth advice and that sort of thing.
I think that our attention span, and sadly, I've even I don't go on TikTok really at all, because I actually think it's dangerous. I think, but even Facebook Shorts, YouTube Shorts, our attention span is so, like, it's becoming so limited that sometimes when I'm watching a video, I will zone out after like a minute, and I'm like, am I talking to Alex? So but no, it's actually true. Like, I find myself zoning out, and I have to go back to re-listen to the bit that I've just missed for the last 30 seconds. And I really think that our attention is becoming damaged, and that might be why people are going for the shorter like versions of things these days.
I think they're going 2 ways. I think they go on.
Half the time on shorts, you can watch something and it can be quite interesting for about 30 seconds, and you're like, where's the rest of it? I listened. There's a business person called Rory something. Is it maybe Rory Sutherland? I can't remember. He's really interesting. He does like marketing and stuff like that. I find really interesting, and I would listen to him. I would listen to him for, like, he has done some long like podcasts that are like 2 hours, but quite often you get lots and lots of really like short things, and I'm like, where's the rest of this information? Stop giving me this tiny bit. So it's yeah. I think there's a few things. I think people don't watch as many videos anymore. I think that people aren't in the hobby as much anymore. Definitely. I would love to actually see some statistics, and I don't know where you would be able to see it, but potentially you could find out how many fish were sold in like 4 years ago and how many fish are sold now. So because that should roughly tell you.
Yeah.
Or how many tanks were sold. But there's definitely less people. I can feel it, and the shops. Think about it. If there was enough people in the hobby for there to be 6 shops within an hour of me that you could go to all on the same day, and they are now all gone, and there's only one shop, that's because there's less people.
So there aren't as many brilliant YouTubers as there were before as well. So BRS when it was
Thank you. I agree.
Because you're not around, exactly. Yeah. So BRS when it was good was brilliant, wasn't it? You look forward to it, but also the rest of YouTube is much better. So like if I'm not when I upload a video, I'm not competing with you and Reef dudes and all that.
You're definitely not competing with me.
Not you at all. But I'm not competing with Parker's Reef and Reef dudes. Well, I am, but I'm also competing with Top Gear and like all these other like money advice things, because you've got a limited amount of time. Do I want to watch some bull dickhead talking about fish, or do I want to watch, I don't know, Jeremy Clarkson on whatever? So YouTube is better, and there's a lot more content on it as well. But I don't really know. I don't completely know the answer, and I think a lot of people are putting in less effort than they have done in the past, and I am well and truly in that category.
I am the king of that category.
Exactly. Yeah, you are. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting because I've been struggling to get views for a long time now, and I've not really worked out why. And so weirdly, I've got a motorbike channel as well. I uploaded a motorbike video last week, and that's last Sunday. That's on 40,000 views.
Yeah,
so that's doing all right. So if I disappear suddenly and start making motorbike videos instead of fish videos, you know,
like Dork.
Exactly. Yeah. But yeah, there you go. And that brings us on to. Do you have anything else to say on that?
No, I spoke to it was actually Charterhouse I spoke to, and they did say that the people that own it, and they did say to me that people's buying habits have changed. But they also said to me, look, when you go through this period where it's like a lull, when it goes back up, it's like really good.
Yeah.
And it's probably the same with anything. Yeah. Like there'll be loads of businesses which are not even remotely related to us that would be that. There's been an economic downturn, hasn't there? Yeah. And fish keeping is a luxury. And the first thing that goes when people have less money is the luxury. So unless you're like really proper hardcore, where you couldn't live without it. But there's loads of people that sort of dabble in it or like it a bit, but not that much, or lost their enthusiasm. And when all of a sudden it becomes more expensive, it's the first thing to go. So I think that it will pick back up. When that happens, who knows?
There you go. So anyway, we can do. We'll get onto the headlines in a sec. We've got member questions first.
Okay.
First one is from. This is a lot of 3D printed stuff. First one is from Edward, who says, "Alex, I've got an Etsy question. reeftalk.etsy.com. I've recently bought a Fluval 307 canister filter for water polishing and extra filtration, while I blow out the interior of the aquascape with a spare power head. I've decided to leave it, but I don't like the output. Can you make a random flow generator I can plug into the existing output? Ryan, I haven't forgotten about the console. I just need to stop making changes. Thanks for the patience." So you must know who that is.
I do now. I had one person book a consultation about probably 6 weeks ago, and I was like, "When do you want it?" And he went, "I'm not ready yet, but I'll let you know." And I just haven't heard anything since.
So I don't make if it's not on the Etsy page, I don't make it. And I get asked for random custom stuff like this all the time. I don't do it, so I can't do anything like that. RFGs in particular, they're not my design, so I can't just. I could download it, tweak it, and sell it, but you're not allowed to do that. So I don't do that. So anything that if it's on the Etsy page, I make it. If it's not, I don't. Basically, I get people ask me all the time, but I can't. So no, and it's that would be quite niche as well. An RFG for a Fluval 307 canister filter. So if there's something that's really popular, I might make it, but probably not. But anyway, so unfortunately, no. But Ryan, you've got a consultation coming your way. And the other question is from Reef, who asks, he's just bought a bamboo 3D printer, which is the same one you and I have got.
That's what I've got, yeah.
Yeah. What are some of the most useful things you've printed for your aquariums? What do you use it for?
I mainly use it for, so the things for my actual, like personally, I printed all the legs for all the frag racks, because they're like a custom height. They're not like a normal size. All the MP40, brackets.
Yeah, okay.
Like for some reason, I think
to hold the controllers. Do you mean?
Yeah, I think is it the MP40s that don't come with a holder, or is it the one of them? I'm sure either the MP40 or the Vectra. One of them didn't come with it.
You can buy one from me.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, that's what I did. Is I printed those. So, and obviously, remember, I've got like 30 of them. so that I was like, yeah, it'll cover the cost of paying for itself, if you see what I mean.
Yeah, that's basically why I brackets and shims. Brackets to hold a variety of things, and shims when you need something that's like, if there's something that needs like a wedge or something, you can just print a little bit and put it in there. That's what I use it for most.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Oh, obviously, I printed loads of specific things for aqua that I needed for transporting them, things like that. And obviously, there's the things that we both sell. So that I would say that's.
And actually, to be fair, so anything that I sell on the website is stuff I use myself. Yeah. So it's stuff that I think is really good. Coral islands are brilliant. I've got loads of them. Just a little plastic rock to keep corals on, little frag bug holes on them, because fish hide in them as well.
Yeah.
I've got 3 or 4 fish that sleep or live in my coral islands.
It's there's something about when you realize a reason to use the printer that it touches something inside you, doesn't
it? you don't need to ask me twice. Like as soon as I get the opportunity to print something, like right, I'll print it. Brilliant.
Yeah,
it was brilliant.
So yeah.
Go on.
No, sorry, keep going.
The second question is also from Reef. Second quick question: how do you guys acclimate inverts? I think you and I probably do it the same way. I've tried various approaches from just heating and yeeting. Oh, I like that. To hours-long drip acclimation and not notice much difference in terms of success. I'm floating a spotted cleaner shrimp at the moment. How do you acclimate inverts, Ryan?
With snails and shrimp stuff like that, I will let the bag get to temperature and I will swap a little bit of water over, but it's not like hours. It's literally I'll get a cup and pour it in and then take some out and like that. So I have just put them in before, which I'm sure is what you do.
Heat and yeet, yeah. So I float the bag. Heat and yeet,
yeah.
Brilliant, by the way, Chris. I float the bag in my sump, usually for half an hour, something like that. Sometimes I forget and come out later, and I do sometimes do exactly that. I remove some water and replace it, but generally they just go in.
See,
like if it's something that I'm concerned about, a special shrimp or whatever, then fine, I'll do that over a longer period. But generally, I just heat and eat.
I do. There's always this wonder about if they are actually more sensitive, and I do think that they are more sensitive than coral, and I think they are more sensitive than fish, definitely.
For sure. Yeah.
Especially, I would say more so shrimp. I would say snails, not so much. And the reason I say that is because I have snails which are bred and are literally in the tank underneath, where I do the water change.
Yeah.
Well, I will drain that tank. There's snails in there. I'll drain the tank down so there's no water in there. Fill it back up completely with fresh water. They're still fine. And then 5 minutes later, put salt in it. And then obviously it gets up to the thing. They don't care. I can't get them out. So the reason I have to do that. And you would think that if you filled a water, like if you had fresh water and you put a snail in it, you think it would just immediately die, wouldn't you? It doesn't.
No, funny.
But remember, they're also outside. They climb out of the rocks, out of the water, don't they?
Yeah, that's true.
And it rains, so they've sort of evolved not to just die. Shrimp, however, are definitely more sensitive, and also like like some of the more like starfish, as they've said in the chat, urchins, things like that?
Urchins for sure, particularly urchins and starfish, they don't like salinity changes at all. So there are some that I would do longer. Again, remove water, pour it away, get some from your tank and pour it in. Urchins and starfish and brittle stars or whatever, yeah, fine.
Do you remember the other day the salinity had gone up because the auto top up wasn't working, and because obviously the RO now is just attached to a 600-liter barrel, I just turned it and it immediately just went like it put the exact amount of water for like 3 days in. Everything's fine. Coral were fine. The fish. I killed one shrimp, and I can't guarantee that I was the one that killed the shrimp, but it's a bit of a coincidence that I've had the shrimp for years and years and years, and then I do that, and then the shrimp dies.
Yep.
So that's one of those things where complacence, about being complacent. If I had done that over a few hours, it probably would have been fine. So, yeah, that's. I would definitely think that shrimp definitely are more sensitive.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. And like so with urchins and starfish, I've seen them disintegrate.
Yes.
when you've had salinity issues. So those for sure. But generally, yeah, I guess with hermit crabs, I don't buy them often. A little bit more cautious, but snails for sure, heat and eat.
Which is weird because when snails die in transport all the time.
Yeah, okay.
So there's certain things that just don't make sense in this hobby. Like, and when you get a bag of dead snails that's been shipped over to you from Indonesia, it's the worst smell in the world. It is terrible.
I suppose there's a lot of flesh there. So if one dies, that's a lot of stuff to rot, isn't it?
Yeah. But again, why are they dying if they can literally survive in fresh water?
Yeah.
It just doesn't seem to make sense.
Yeah.
I think when I do that with the freshwater, I think the snails clamp down to the glass to like completely cover themselves so that they can't. Yeah. And then once the salinity goes back to normal, they're fine.
Okay. There we go. We got to move on because we're an hour and 10 minutes in.
That's all right. Yeah, true.
And we've got a lot of things to go through. So rules of the game, Ryan, the rules of reef keeping. Basically, this is all about making the hobby as boring as possible. If the hobby is boring, you're doing everything right, because it's all the stuff that makes you successful is really boring, tedious kind of nonsense, basically.
Not really. You learn to enjoy it.
Oh, yeah. No, you enjoy it, but the stuff to enjoy it is just like, I got to change the water, test parameters.
Yeah.
It's not sexy stuff. Like,
true.
Anyway, Ryan, hit me. I've got 17 things on my list.
You've added, I don't know how many on mine, but we'll just keep going. We'll just
go for it.
I always start the first one I've realized with these with research, because research is the number one thing. I think if you don't do any research with everything put to do with this hobby to some extent, then you will definitely fail. Imagine trying, look, prime corals, number one research. Yeah. So, because I think, I think Ryan says like an ounce of prevention is a pound of cure or something like that, he says. That applies so much to this hobby. And although sometimes you can do your research and things still go wrong, it will go really, really wrong if you don't do any research. So research, I would say, is my first one. I would say I think that's one of the most vitally important things.
So I've got something similar to that, but I'll come back onto that later, because my first one was cycle your tank properly.
Okay.
Now, properly doesn't necessarily mean, it certainly doesn't mean getting a shrimp and waiting 6 weeks or whatever, testing ammonia and all that sort of stuff. A lot of people, especially if you come from the freshwater hobby, you'll test ammonia and nitrite. Nitrite don't matter. Don't bother wasting time. But I mean, just make sure you're cycled. So that can be popping in a bottle of bacteria and some live rock. I would always, if you're going to cycle a tank with bacteria, put some live rock in. Whether it's from your local fish shop or a friend or whatever, or an existing tank. It's so good to have that established colony of bacteria. But cycle it properly. Don't just wang in a damsel, which is still, you still get that advice, and just hope everything's okay, and test and have a CChem ammonia alert. So then it will, because testing ammonia relies on you to test it. So if you're looking at the tank, think, it looks all right today. I'll wait and test. I'll test tomorrow. You won't know what the ammonia is until you test it. Whereas if you've got a CChem ammonia alert disk in there, instantly, as soon as you look at the tank, you know what the ammonia level is. And then if it's high, 80% water change, 90% water change.
They go up and down, don't they? As in, they go. So what? Just because once they've changed color to show that there is ammonia, the ammonia it then changes back, doesn't it? It's not like a one-time test.
Oh, absolutely, yeah, and it lasts for up to a year apparently. And I've done that before, where it's shown an ammonia reading, and I thought, oh, I don't know, is that right? And I go and put it in my main tank, an established tank, and it goes back to 0 instantly. So it does work. I don't know if it's instant, but it's quick. It doesn't take days or whatever. So they're really, really good. They're like 15 quid or something.
They're like for a new, well, I would say for a new person, but for anyone starting a tank, I would say it's worth
its weight in gold. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have them for the quarantine tank.
Yeah. I use them for quarantine as well. What's your next one?
I'm gonna go for weekly testing.
Oh, which
I think what parameters?
Yeah.
Salinity, alkalinity, calcium are definitely weekly tests. Like weekly.
You're just stopping there.
Nitrate and phosphate, I don't think that you need to do every single week. You could do those every 2 weeks, I think. They don't change drastically. And magnesium, I think, is one that's... Oh, are you going to say salinity?
No, salinity was your first one.
Oh, was it?
Last one, yeah.
Oh, magnesium is, again, doesn't change as much as the other two.
So I completely agree with all of that, actually. And today, I tested everything except for nitrate and phosphate, because I was just like, I don't really care. I should do still. But that's the things that's what I care least about, because it's very, very... It's highly unlikely that it'll ever be 0 in my tank, and that's all that really matters. Obviously, it still matters what levels it are, but 0 is a problem. High, a little bit high, doesn't really matter so much. Like long term, anyway. But so the reason, so I've put test the big 5 plus salinity, and the big salinity, obviously the main one. And don't use a swing arm hydrometer. Throw that in right now. Proper optical refractometer are great. Test the big 5 plus salinity. So the big 5 is alkalinity, calcium, magnesium, nitrate, and phosphate. And I've test them every week. Years down the line, doesn't matter.
Yeah,
but
I understand what you're saying. Best practice,
at least 6 months, maybe even as long as you can basically stomach it. It gives you such an interesting picture of what's happening, and because you'll find that, like, for a month everything's pretty much stable, so that you might think, well, I'll stop testing then. But then if you keep testing, things start moving around, and you're like, well, hang on a second, my alkalinity's gone down, but my calcium hasn't, and my magnesium's gone up. What the hell? And you start to realize that weird stuff happens, and you wouldn't, if you just test for a month and everything's fine, you just think, oh, it's okay then. So you start to see patterns. That's one of the reasons that alkalinity testers became so popular, is because they give you like 1,000 times more data, and they show you that alkalinity does this, all like goes up and down throughout the day. Really interesting. Goes up at night or down at night. All this sort of. So as long as you can, and Jay's Real Reef is a really good one at this. He still tests every week.
So do I. Every single parameter every week.
I don't.
even magnesium, which, as I said, never changes generally for me. The problem is when people they get fed up. The reason I said I did it in the order that like the minimum requirements is because if you're fed up, at least do these.
Yeah,
at least do those.
Yeah, that's a fair shout.
It takes me, I'd say, probably about an hour and a half every week to do all of the tests on all 3 tanks. But I just get into a stage where you just put a YouTube video on and just watch that while I'm doing it.
Yeah. So that's an hour and a half. That's a long. Doesn't take me that long. 20 minutes.
But I'm doing 3 tanks.
I know you are. But that an hour and a half. Like, I don't know if I'd have the.
It should take 20 minutes, I'd say, if you can get quick enough to do it in 20 minutes.
So if you've, because I use for testing, I use HANA for nitrate, phosphate, and alkalinity.
Yeah.
And if you start the nitrate one, that takes, once you've done all the mixing, it takes 7 minutes to give you a result.
Yeah.
And in that 7 minutes, you can usually do the phosphate one and the alkalinity one.
Yeah.
And then I sit and leave them And then when they're done, I do calcium and magnesium on Salafer, and that takes 5 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
So roughly 20 minutes, I think is
Yeah.
But hour and a half, that's good going, is what I'm saying.
Look, you have to remember, part of the reason it takes an hour and a half is because, remember, I don't have a normal job. So I have an hour and a half to do this. This is like what you would do at work. But the other thing is, the reason it takes an hour and a half is because I'm watching something as well. So like I'm not going as fast as I can. I'm probably distracted.
Right. Yeah, okay, fair enough.
I would say probably I could probably get down to an hour if I did it quickly, but then when you rush things and it's no fun, you don't want to do it.
No, totally. Okay. All right. Next one. Oh, so we both had that one. Don't use a swing arm hydrometer. So these, I've got two that merge together. Do a water change every week, or
that's what I've got.
Often anyway. It doesn't have to be literally. If you miss a week, don't give yourself a hard time. But with 0 TDS water is the second.
I disagree with you. Every week.
Okay.
and the reason I think it's important to do it every week is because it's about the routine.
Yeah.
Don't let people off because sometimes when it's like being on a diet and you go, okay, well, I've lasted 6 weeks.
I'll have a Mars bar.
I'll just have some chocolate today. And then, well, you go, well, I had chocolate yesterday, might as well have it today as well. Yeah, and you once you break that routine, it can be really hard to get back into it. So I am going to strongly say every week.
I'm talking 1 or 2 a year. If you miss 1 or 2 a year,
yeah.
But like you're right. If you get into the habit of doing that, it's a slippery slope, and then you're like, oh, my tank's fine actually. If anything, and you convince yourself it looks better. Oh, in that case, I'll leave it. And then 6 months down the line, all this rubbish has built up, and you're like, oh, anyway.
The great thing about having the water box is I hardly ever do. I don't like. I think I went for like 6 months without doing a water change on it, and I don't know what's happening. It doesn't. The parameters aren't going up. Like you would assume phosphated nitrate would be really high, but they're just not. No. They're like 5 and 0.8, I think 0.08.
And you feed 4 cubes of frozen a day, don't you?
Yeah. Like where does it go? It's like magic.
When I talked to Yorkshire Reefs about their acro tank not long ago, they don't do water changes. And they didn't really have much filtration in the sump. And I was like, how do you keep phosphate down then? And they were like, it's just imbalance. So what? And it just the system just processes it.
There's sometimes it just like I cannot work out how, but I can do like a 90% water change on that tank. Pretty much. Well, probably 80% in an hour now. So I did a massive water change the other day, and since then I've not done it again because there's no corals in it. So having a fish only tank is just amazing.
Yeah, I don't. When I do replace the cade, which is going to be soon, by the way, I just need to choose the tank. When I do replace that, it's going to be soft corals. I think I just don't want it to be high maintenance at all. I keep thinking about doing acros, but I don't want them.
No, definitely not. I would literally just go for. You should put only special soft corals in it. So you should limit yourself and go right.
Green star polyps.
No, special ones. So you like, for example, you don't want a toadstool. You want like one of those really bright green toadstools. So you or you want a yellow Fiji toadstool. So where like special ones, because then you feel like it's a special tank, but it's also easy to do.
I'm having Xenia. I'm telling you right now.
Oh, terrible idea. And I'm going to tell you right now that's a terrible idea.
Okay. I don't care if it goes out of control. It looks cool. Anyway, we're getting sidetracked. The other part of that for me was with 0 TDS water, and that is just so important. Ideally, buy your own RADI filter. It will save you money in the space of a few months because it's so much cheaper to filter your own water and mix your own salt water, and it's really easy. But if that's not possible, or you think it's too complicated, or you can't attach an RADI filter for whatever reason, ask your local fish shop what their TDS is every time.
No, don't ask them. Take a TDS meter.
Okay, yeah.
They're like 10 quid. Take one with you, and take a cup with you, and then don't like test the barrel of water because there'll be all crud and stuff in that from the last time you used it probably, and test the cup. And that should give you the most accurate. Does that give you an
accurate result then? It won't give you a false reading.
Why would it be different?
Because there's stuff on the glass. So goes the theory. There's something in the glass, so there will be something in there. That's the theory. You shouldn't. That's why you should test it when it's coming out of the tube, not when it's gone into the barrel.
Yeah. Well, actually, but the best thing to do is actually test it with a glass, because glass, nothing's gonna.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, you want to ensure one. I wouldn't go into a shop and go fill that up. I want to test your TDS, but
I would.
Yeah, fine. If you want to be like Ryan, do that.
Look, just all you got to do is go in there and go, look, I'll be honest with you. I was buying I bought some from another shop, and or my one's is too high at the moment. I just want to check yours is lower. That's it.
Fine.
And
but
a good fish shop would allow that, I think.
Yeah. Fine. But you want to ensure that it's 0 TDS, because there are some shops that don't, and this is not because they're necessarily a bad shop. I spoke to a shop who did mostly freshwater. And I've said this before, the lowest they let it get to was 20. I was like, oh God, that's really bad. But that's because they're not catering for, they're not trying to cater mostly for marine keepers. So just check. If it's 0, happy days. If you want to go and test with your little glass, like Ryan, look them in the eye whilst you're testing, see what their reaction is.
True.
He's missed.
Sorry, I was distracted. I was reading the comments. So,
but there you go. So 0 TDS and get REDI filters are just great. People often refer to them as REDI machines. It's not a machine. There are no moving parts. The reason I pick that's a bit pedantic, it might sound, but it's important because an REDI machine makes it sound complicated. It's a filter. It's like a Brita water filter. It just relies on tap pressure, basically. Don't say
I do understand why people feel like it's complicated.
Yeah, complete, but it's not.
No, I know. Look, the only thing that a lot of people aren't happy, and even one of my customers, my consultation customers, she wasn't happy about making. Obviously, you've got to make a hole in a pipe.
Yeah, completely. Yeah,
and although you can just turn it, can't you? And it does it for you.
What if it goes wrong?
Yeah, so I said to look, you can get a plumber in. If you're not happy to do it, it will take them probably 5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's just a concern that is.
Yeah. No, I agree. I wouldn't do it myself, but
I've done.
Did you? Yeah, see, I wouldn't do it myself.
But you shouldn't. Those aren't very good. So the best way to do it, actually, by the way, if you pull out your washing machine, it has a little screw connector. Okay, so it connects the hose from the feed hose from the washing machine.
I know what you're talking about.
Connects onto the outlet with a screw. What you can get, and that's just your house water feed. You can get a little Y adapter that has 2 screw feeds on there. So you screw your washing machine back onto one of them, and then you get the other one. You screw your RDI filter. You can get an adapter. It's just a screw that goes over the top, and then you plug in the RO lead, the 1/4-inch John Guest tubing. Really easy. You don't have to pierce anything. No danger of anything going wrong.
Yeah.
Best way to do it. That's the way I've done it on mine. Anyway,
there'll be a load of people's wives going, "What happened to the connection for the washing machine?"
Yeah, exactly. I can't get back in. It won't go back.
Yeah.
I can't think what I'd Google to show you that. Yes, I am getting a beer. Thank you. All right, next one.
I'm not sure. So I've been trying to go in like order, but like in terms of like from start to finish, if you see what
mine gets a bit chaotic, but I try.
Yeah. I think feed your fish properly. I think that's an important one.
That's my next one.
And I think that's one that people don't do. Is that why you asked me what I feed them?
No. That's not quite what I said. When you say feed them properly, what do you mean?
There's a lot of people that will feed their fish every 2 days. It's not uncommon. There's a lot of people that will underfeed them because they don't want to deal with the nutrients. It's like we have basically trapped these fish in glass boxes. Why are we now starving them so that we don't have to do a little bit of extra work?
Yeah,
that's what I mean. I think that a healthy fish is one which is well fed, and that means it will have a better immune system. So I just think it's worth it. And also a varied diet as well.
Yeah.
But I think that a lot of people can keep copper bands for a period of time and then they randomly die. I think, I'm not saying a lot of people, there are people that keep copper bands for a year and then they randomly die. I really, really think that comes down to diet.
Yeah.
Because let's put it this way, it's not disease because they're probably fine. Like, as in, if nothing else is dying, it's not disease. And it's not water quality because nothing else is dying, which means the only thing it can really be is diet. So
I'm going to wind back quickly. We'll come back onto
Okay.
diet in a sec. I
Okay.
found out exactly what those things are, right? So this is on the left is the Y piece so that plugs into your main down there, and then you plug you screw your washing machine back into that side, and then this thing, which is a John Guest washing machine adapter, screws onto the other one, and then you plug your RADI filter into that.
There you go.
Diet.
Did you want me to really impressed?
No, I just showed because I didn't know that existed until I found it.
Yeah.
And anyway, diet.
Yeah, I think diet is important. Again, I had a conversation with one of my customers the other day, and this isn't bad. This is how lots of people, and I reckon there'll be people in the chat right now. He said, "I only buy the only fish food I buy is fish food that contains garlic," and I'm like, why? Like that's not like there's no garlic in the ocean, and I know that there's this theory or thought that it might help.
Was he doing that because of medicinal reasons or
yeah
right?
Because it supposedly boosts their immune system, which is not true. However, I feel like it's been marketed that it is true.
People still believe it, yeah. The reason to you can legitimately use garlic food sometimes, but it's like an appetizer. It's to get
that's what I said.
Exactly. Yeah, it will. Fish is more a fish that is not eating might think that smells nice. I'll try that.
Yeah,
appetizer stimulant.
As I said, if you're someone in the chat, let's see if there is one person, and you're willing to like put your hand up. I'm interested to think if you have the choice between mysis or mysis with garlic, do you pick the mysis with garlic? Because I would have been one of those people until I saw the study that it said garlic damages the livers of fish.
Exactly. Yeah.
Until I saw that study, I was one of those people. So,
and if your fish are healthy and properly fed, that's the best medicine for it, like just look after it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So I put don't overfeed your fish.
There is that, obviously, because the other thing is you're then polluting the tank.
That's the thing, because actually, in an ideal world, you're feeding fish and feeding a tank are two different things, because you want to feed your fish as much as possible, more within reason.
Yeah.
But you don't want to pollute your tank. But actually, the reality is that fish don't need as much as you think, and it's really easy when you're new to the hobby. You put food in, and they go crazy for it. No, they must be really hungry. You do that 10 minutes later, they do the same. They must be really hungry.
Yeah.
Most people feed their tank once a day, I think.
Oh yeah, I would say most people do.
That's not necessarily the best way to do it, but it's fine, and it's far better. One of the things I put later is less is more, and that less is more is the case with everything. Far better to feed too little than too much.
Yes.
If you're feeding so little that your fish are skinny, increase your feeding. But
look, let's suppose if you're one of the people that's feeding every 2 days, it's not acceptable as far as I'm concerned. It just isn't.
Yeah, because it could, even if you miss a couple of days feeding, might not sound that bad. That's a major problem, and things can go downhill very quickly.
Yeah.
So you try not eating for 2 days.
I was gonna say you try not eating for 2 days, see how you feel.
2 minutes, yeah.
And the other, I mean, I know they're smaller, but that just means they have less body weight to to be able to do that.
Reserves, yeah.
Yeah. So that is it my turn or your turn?
Oh, let's go my turn. My next one is don't feed your corals.
Yeah, I would say that.
I saw a video recently of a newbie setting up a tank, and he was pouring in bottles of various things that he bought from a shop.
Yeah,
and I was just looking. I was just going, just don't. If it comes in a bottle, it doesn't go in your tank.
Yeah, okay.
That's an exaggeration, but like if you're fish shops sometimes will sell you stuff like they'll say, "Oh, you're buying a coral, you need to feed it coral food or whatever." You really don't. With all of this, you're allowed to experiment once you've got the basics right, and I don't just mean once you've tested and all your parameters are where they should be. I mean, when you've been going for a year and your tank looks really good, all your corals look really healthy, then if you want to, you can start experimenting. But until then, experimenting won't do any good. It will actually do harm. And things like pouring in coral food is far more likely, especially in the early days, to do harm than it is good, because you're going to pollute the tank.
Yeah.
And corals don't need it, because someone will sell it to you. They'll say, well, corals get 85% of their nutrition needs from light. And that sounds like, so they're 15% malnourished if I'm not feeding them.
Yeah.
That's not the case. Ryan, you've been doing this hobby 20 years. You've been running a farm 7 years. How many times a day do you feed your corals?
Never. Well, technically once when I feed the fish.
Exactly.
But
that's
never.
it. Exactly. Yeah, they eat poo.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, all that, like, so I used to sieve out, your frozen food. I used to put it through a sieve and then put it in, and that does, if you've got serious nutrient problems, that is very nutrient dense, like phosphate dense, that liquid. So I do think that has some benefit, but I don't do it anymore. And I think that's because the corals utilize it.
I think that's a rite of passage. I think as one of the early things that everybody obsesses about it when you first get into the hobby is you go into, like, you look, you research whether you should be doing that or not, and you'll come across some people who swear by doing it, and then someone else will be like, oh no, I tested the phosphate, it was like 2 parts per million, don't do it. And you obsess about this, and then after a while you just think, I just can't be bothered, and you just go back, you wang it all in and it's fine.
You saw me do something today which actually was very rare. So I just put the frozen food in the tank while it was still frozen, which is like, it's unusual for me to do that.
Some people do that all the time. And
no.
Because why don't you do that?
Because the food, what usually happens if it's frozen, it's not for the fish. I don't think it matters for the fish. It's because the bigger fish will take big chunks, and then the little fish get nothing. It needs to break apart so that they can all chase it at the same time. So that's why I do that.
There are 2 reasons I don't do it. That's the main reason. The other reason, it's more likely to go down the overflow and end up in your weir box.
Yeah, true. The only other thing that I thought about this, and it actually doesn't really make sense, because obviously the alternative is they're hitting a rock, but the copper bands, when they hit that like the frozen food, you can like hear it sometimes, how powerful they hit it. And I just think, well, actually they're just hitting a rock normally. It's just they're very delicate. You can damage a copper band's mouth literally in a net or in a bag. So, but that, I always thought it's probably best to do it for the copper bands, but in reality it probably won't make any difference because they're just smashing into the rocks all day.
This is true. But yeah, you hear like a
they
snap there. But I think that's them snapping their, I don't know what it is. Anyway,
it might be. Yeah, it might be them closing their mouth really quickly.
That's what I think it is. But
I'm
not looked into it. What's your next one?
I have got, don't buy from any tanks that have disease in them. So if you're at a fish shop and you see a fish that is in a tank 3 tanks down that's got velvet or like white spot, or if it's like lymphocystis, which if you're early stages you might not even know what lymphocystis is,
because it's not cauliflower white lumps.
Yeah, that's not one of the ones that people really like look into early on.
I still wouldn't buy a fish with lymphocystis, but many people would, and it's fine.
So I have the cod band that is in the water box now, in quarantine, had lymphocystis, and even after it finished the quarantine period, it still had it, and I still put it in with it. So because I just know it's not something to fear, but it can look unsightly, and I do agree that if you see a fish in a fish shop that's got it, it's probably best not to do it. But I wasn't worried about putting it with the other fish.
The thing is, the 2 things: if you misidentify it and it's actually white spot, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
But also there's an expression for this: there's plenty more fish in the sea, right? True. Just because that fish is the perfect fish that you've been looking for 2 weeks, come back the next week, there'll be another 10. Or go to the next shop, there'll be 10. There's loads. True. So it's sometimes difficult to see that, especially if you've been waiting for a couple of months. But play the long game.
Yeah, no, I agree. And generally speaking, fish shop tanks are all connected. So it is not always, but like, because they come in, they're in bays, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly.
But it is worth asking, and usually people will tell you. Like I knew when I was buying fish from shops, I knew which tanks were connected to each other, and I feel like it's important to know. So
yeah,
that will tell you.
So the next one is on my list is to when you finish acclimating your fish, however you do it, I heat and yeet with fish for sure.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
What? But no, they go in quarantine, don't they?
But when you put them in quarantine.
Yes, yeah.
heat and eat, right?
Yes.
Love that.
They don't go into the they don't go into the display tank, was what I was saying. Yes.
But you pour away the water that the fish from the bag the fish came in. And the reason people think you do that is because it might have parasites in it. You don't want to put that in. But the actual reason is because a lot of shops run copper on their systems.
Yeah.
And so there will be copper in that water. If you put that in your tank, it'll kill your corals, your inverts, everything.
Do you know when I realized that you could put the fish in like that? When I was doing freshwater dips, and you take them out of a tank and you put them into fresh water, and they're not happy, but they after they usually lie down, and then once you touch them or whatever, only appropriately, they start swimming around again, and then they're fine. You can't leave them in there for an hour, but yeah, for a period of time. That was when I realized, I'm like, how can you do a freshwater dip where the parameters are completely different and the fish are still fine? I've never lost a fish with doing a freshwater dip, and I've never lost a fish from putting it in that way.
No. So the way I saw that explained in a scientific way once was that fish osmoregulate better than they thermoregulate, i.e. they can manage the salinity difference better than they can manage temperature difference. So it's really important to temperature acclimate.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're more likely to shock them. But even then, I mean, a couple of degrees probably isn't going to be a big deal. But I generally float for half an hour and then put them in.
Yeah, I agree. Same for me.
What's your next one?
Don't overreact.
Yeah.
I think this is a really, really big one for people.
Yeah.
Sometimes, let's say there's white spot, all of a sudden the tank's being ripped apart. I did this recently, obviously. So I think that people will go, oh, my parameters are 6, and then they're like pouring alkalinity in, and all of a sudden they're like 10. Like, change things slowly is what I'm trying to say. Generally speaking, things are not as bad. You'll have an aptasia at some point. Don't freak out. Eventually everyone gets aptasia. This is just part of having a living organism, pretty much what it is.
There aren't many problems that will appear that you need to get rid of instantly.
Yes. Yeah.
Velvet.
And I often think that if you try to change them instantly, it makes it worse.
Yeah. It's so I was a nightmare for that at first. If something bad happened, I was like, I want to sort it instantly, and just because you panic because you don't know. And if you saw your alkalinity was 4, then you think, oh my God, that's horrific. I've got to change it immediately, which is a normal reaction. Yeah. But actually, you and I have had alkalinity of 4 before on a full thriving reef tank, and
not mine wasn't a full thriving reef tank, but yeah.
But then you just bring it back up slowly and be right. So,
yeah. So it's
react slowly.
I think that's a really difficult one for people to listen to.
Completely, yeah. Because it's natural especially if it's new, it's natural to not to necessarily panic, but
other than the parameters or disease, and I mean maybe with pests, I can't think of another thing which people do overreact to. Impulse buying. That's an overreaction.
Impulse buying is definitely on the list of basic of following the basic rules.
Yeah,
but we all do it. don't do it, but we all do it.
Yeah. No, even I'm guilty for it. What is impulse buying? Because this is what I want to know. If you know about the fish, is that an impulse buy? Or is it only an impulse buy if you don't know about the fish?
It can still be, if you're not planning on buying it that day, it's an impulse buy. But if you know about the fish, you've done some research.
Yeah.
But there's just no excuse. In 2 seconds, you can get your phone out and Google it. And if you put in live aquaria, 50% chance it will come up with a result. 50% chance.
Watch a YouTube video so it makes Alex feels better because he's
watch it all the way to the end.
Yeah. yeah. But no, I agree. I just because
we need to move on, Ryan, because we've got a lot to get through, and we still got to do news and fish that we can cover.
Okay, that's fine. I've only got 5 left, and they're quick ones, basically. Well, I've done no impulse buy. Lids are the next one.
Yeah, mesh cover doesn't matter if you people will say, oh well, I've only got Like a tang, that's not going to jump. But you'll have every fish can jump.
I had a vampire tang jump, so
there you go. Yeah, just don't risk it.
it wasn't. It was a convict tang, not a vampire tang.
Yeah,
no, it was a vampire. Yeah, sorry. Anyway.
Yeah. Oh, excuse me. But yeah, don't do it. Mesh cover. You got to have a mesh cover. You got an open top tank. I know they're ugly. Believe me. And I've fallen foul of this myself. Go on.
Would you like to do the next one?
So I'm going to wind back. Aquascapes. When you're setting up your aquascape, you want angles. My first aquascape was just like a sheer rock face.
Yeah.
And it looked amazing. I was like, this looks brilliant. I'm going to have an amazing reef tank. And then I went to put a coral on it. And you're like, oh, gravity. And it's impossible to fit corals on. You want sloping angles to make it looks better for a start, and you get light everywhere rather than shaded areas. But also you can't put fixing a coral onto a sheer angle with putty is a nightmare. Or it's super whatever. It's an absolute nightmare. So angles on your aquascapes. They
also shade everything out if it's very sharp.
Yeah, completely. What's your next one?
This is a new one, and I wasn't sure to put it on here because for years and years people didn't. But I do think there is value in knowing what your par levels are, because people will often put the lights at 60% or 70% because they're like, oh, we need as much as possible, and there's no way of knowing what those lights are, what level they are without a par meter.
So I didn't put that on my list, but I did think about it. But instead, I put less is more with light, and actually that applies to a lot of things. But like if you're setting your lights, if you get your lights and you set it to 100% because it's bright and it looks cool, that's almost certainly going to cause you problems. If you set it to 10%, that's almost certainly going to be 100% fine.
So it's interesting. I think the room that it's in makes a difference. You thought my lights were really dim today, didn't you? But remember, you're used to a tank in the room that's in, which has one window. My entire wall is a window, isn't it? Because of the doors. Yeah, so I think when you said they're really dim, I was like, you should see it at night. It's like blinding. You can see it down the street. So I think what room it. So that basically shows you our ability to view what the strength of light is not very good. Yeah. So
there you go. What's your next one?
Don't chase numbers. I've written with regards to like within reason. There's like a boundary of where it should be, but don't try.
So what do you mean by don't chase numbers then? Because people say that, don't they? Right after. What do you mean?
If your tank is pretty happy with being at 8.4 or 9 or but don't go. Oh, it's not 9. It has to be 9. Is what I mean. Does that make sense? I'm not sure I'm getting it out correctly, but
it does make sense. You should chase roughly the right amount. Like people say, chase trends, so everything should be roughly right. Like if your alkalinity is 4, having a stable alkalinity of 4 is not good. But it doesn't really matter if it's 7, 8, or 9, as long as it's roughly around there.
Yeah,
it doesn't have to be exact because
if it's between 8 and 9, I think it's fine.
Yeah. But you do want, like calcium, you don't want it to be 350 and stay there.
Yeah.
You want everything to be roughly in range. So look up the ranges that it should be and get roughly around there. So one of mine was dose, just dose. So I think dosing is overlooked. When you're first in the hobby, you start putting corals in and you think it'll be okay. I'll just do water changes. And I've done that myself, and I've advised people to do that in the past as well. And you can get away with that. But there's a lot of value. Dosing sounds complicated, doesn't it? It sounds intimidating. It's really easy, especially if you use all for reef. You just put some in, and then you test every day for a week, and you watch it go up or down, and then you adjust the dose up or down accordingly. And if you're not dosing and you're starting to put corals in, you're gonna have a parameter crash at some point. And even if you're not, the corals won't be as happy as they would be if you're replenishing the elements they're using.
Correct.
What's your next one?
This is pretty much my last one. I've got 2, but the last one's not really. Don't go too quickly. I think that's like really, really important. When I first started, I limited myself literally to 1 fish per month, which sounds like painful for someone like you. It's like it was 1 fish per month. That was it. And partly because I couldn't afford it. Like I literally couldn't afford to buy more than 1 fish. Every Christmas present, birthday present, people gave me fish because that's what I wanted. So yeah, it's I just think the slower you go, the less you can get wrong. Because if you have one fish in a month and then you kill all your fish on month 2, you've only killed one fish. If you've got 15 fish in a month and you kill your fish in month 2, you've killed 15.
Yeah,
that's what I mean.
Okay. Was that your last one?
My last one says gadgets aren't the answer. I really think.
Whoa.
They're not.
Yeah, they are.
What
do you mean gadgets aren't the answer?
They're not the difference between a successful tank and an unsuccessful. I suppose it's true, because like a dosing pump does make things easier. So maybe that's not really the right thing to have said.
But that's why I'm asking the question, because if by gadget, if you mean a light or a power head, then no. But
no, what I mean is like what light you have doesn't matter. What power, within reason.
Yeah.
Don't go put a fucking lampshade over it.
One of the main ones they'll find, doesn't matter.
Yeah. How much flow you have, generally, if you have one on one side, one on the other, you're pretty fine for most beginner corals. So it's not the difference between success and failure, what brands you have and things like that. You don't need every possible piece of automatic testing equipment. You don't need an Apex and all that sort of stuff. You're far better investing in knowledge than you are in gadgets, is what I would say. I think that's probably the best way to put it.
I'm happy with that. The others on my list are: don't buy 2 snails, buy 10. People always underbuy snails, and like obviously, if you've got like a 1 foot tank, don't buy 10 snails. But like if you've got a 4 foot tank and you're like, I'll buy 3 or 4 to start with. Don't on day one, obviously, you don't whack in snails, but snails you want loads. Like a few snails in a big tank isn't going to do much, and I think people always underbuy snails. Cleanup crew generally.
That's the opposite to what Ryan at BRS says. He says underbuy them and then add them later.
Yeah, I mean, why? Because they'll die.
Because if they've not got enough algae and you put 10 in and you've only got enough algae for 6, 4 of them will die and pollute your tank. Is what.
So we're saying the same thing, because day one you don't want to put too many in, but you don't like longer term if you've got
an appropriate amount.
Exactly. If you've got an established tank, a few months old or whatever, and you're putting 1 snail in, that's not going to do much. You need more. And I think people often underbuy snails. So I think we're probably saying roughly the same thing, just different ways. And the last couple: don't buy fish or corals that are not suitable for your tank.
Yeah.
And what I mean by fish is dietary requirements that you can't keep up with. So if there's a fish that needs feeding every day, like those little twin spot gobies that you need to target feed by hand every day, and you're not going to do it, don't buy it. If it's a cupper band and you need to feed it several times a day to get it feeding, and you're not going to do it, don't buy it.
Yeah, I agree.
If it's too big, if it's too aggressive, it's not compatible with your other fish, doesn't matter how cool it is, don't buy it. And with corals, I mean, in terms of if you've got and I'm the worst for this, but I'm allowed to do this because I've been doing, I've had a successful tank.
Yeah.
But if you've got a tank that's set up for LPS corals, which I have, don't buy acros and expect them to do well.
Yeah,
because they
which
won't.
You did.
Which I did. Some of them are doing all right, to be fair.
Multiple times.
Yeah, I know. Shh. But just if you've got a new tank, if you're your first tank, the words "I'd like to buy that Aquapora, please" should not be in your vocabulary, because it'll die. They're terrible. They're a nightmare.
Yeah.
And even things like gunnies, massive pain in the ass.
Yeah.
You might get lucky. You might be all right. You might not.
No, I agree. I often steer people towards Alveopora if they want a Goniopora.
Yeah.
If they're new and they don't know what they're doing, I'd rather they went that way.
Yeah, I hate gunnies to this day. I love them, but I hate them.
Yeah.
And my last two are: dip every new coral you buy.
Yeah, I agree. Oh yes, that's true.
So easy to think, oh, do you know what? It's late. I can't be bothered. I'll run out of dip or whatever. Just dip it, because the one time you don't.
Yeah, this was way. If I'm dipping not thousands, but like large quantities of coral, then you can dip a frag.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and finally, potentially controversial: don't listen to beginners.
Yes, or us.
But it's really easy to take advice from beginners, particularly if someone's going through the same thing as you are.
Yeah,
But the chances are, if someone's new to the hobby, it doesn't mean that they don't know what they're doing at all, but they won't have the experience. So they might have only had 3 fish, and they'll
yeah,
tell you the wrong thing. So it's easy to take to look for beginners in the same position as you to give advice, but they're not the best people.
I agree.
And that's everything, which is great because it means we've still got time for news.
Just the
And
news.
no,
We
you
got we
don't
got
want to
we got we
do.
got 5 minutes, and the news is actually relatively interesting. I want to know about.
All right,
I've got the
we'll
other
do.
two, but we can. It's up to you.
We'll do the news. Hello and welcome to Reefing News. My name is Alex. I'm your host, and with me here is Ryan. Ryan, what's the
Hello.
news?
What's the news? Oh, which bit? I want to do the live aquarium news first.
We'll do the live aquaria news. So there's been a live aquaria update. Live aquaria, the website is now back up and running. It is working. Oh no, that's hilarious. Oh,
Is it
no,
not
no, no.
working anymore? It was
I
working
clicked,
as of yesterday, I think.
I clicked on it and it said it hesitated, but now it is working. It's there.
Yeah.
I wouldn't, but do not think that they are out of the woods and everything's fine again. And the first thing I've seen actually is 50% sale.
See, originally it was 20%, wasn't it? But
This is so after last week's live stream, they had the next day they were back up and running, and it said discount code 20. It said sorry 20, misspelt
yeah,
the word sorry.
yeah.
I didn't get it anyway. And I was like, for a start, all you've got to do after all these stories everywhere about you're going into bankruptcy, and all you're doing is a discount code sorry 20. You're not going to
Yeah.
explain what's happened. That is weird. That tells me that you're just trying to, there's nothing to see. We're back up. Everything's fine. And now they're doing, okay, Black Friday is a big thing. I think isn't Black Friday the end of November? I think, yeah. So,
Yeah.
and they're doing a 50% sale now. Everything is, I don't know what's going on. There've been some core updates. Again, if you look on the Reef Builders website, it goes into detail about what's gone on. To be honest with you, I'm not going to go into the technical side of it because I don't understand it. I don't know how it works.
Yeah, I didn't understand. I was hoping you understood it.
I understand some of it, but
Wasn't it something to do with like robbing Peter to pay Paul or something like that? Where I'd like something like that.
It sounds like something shady is going on, but whatever. So I can't buy from this place anyway.
Yeah.
But if you want my advice, should I buy from Live Aquaria because they've got a 50% sale? I would not touch that with a barge pole.
Yeah.
There is clearly, I don't know what's going on. They're back, so that's great.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on, but something is going on. All is not well. And if you're giving money to someone who is in bankruptcy proceedings, or the company who owns him is in bankruptcy proceedings, you've got a 50-50 chance of losing that money. Something is going on.
It's a bit. I mean, look, the warehouse was for sale, wasn't it? There's literal pictures of it. So they would be better off being honest with people and going, look, close. If this is what it is, and it looks like a closing down sale, they'd be better going, look, we're closing down. We need to get rid of the fish. The fish are a problem because someone's got to look after them. So we're doing 50% off. If you're in, you would trust them more if they did that.
Completely be straight with us. But there's on the Reef Builders page, there was talk of allegations, and this isn't from Reef Builders, but there are allegations of fraud going on.
Yeah.
So I don't know enough to talk about it properly, but something fishy, pardon the pun, is going on. And I would not, like, if you can go there with cash, give them the cash. Don't let go of it until you've got the bag of the fish. Then you can let go. Fine. But if you're giving them money online, that's a bold move. I don't know how it works in America. In the UK, we have credit card protection for anything over £100. Section 75 is called. So if you buy something for £100, the value of the item is £100 or more, and you pay it on credit card, you get protection if things go wrong. And actually, it's not the value of the transaction on your credit card. So you can pay if you buy something that's £100 and you pay £1 on your credit card, you get protection for the full thing.
Really?
So,
interesting.
I don't know if that's how it works in America.
Yeah.
But if I presume it is, because that's the basis of credit cards. If you insist on doing it, then protect yourself with credit cards or PayPal or somewhere. But I mean, if you're looking at thinking, oh great, it was all a storm in a teacup, there's nothing going on. come back in a couple of months' time and see what's gone on, because
I'd be interested to know how many people are actually taking up that offer. Because I mean, 50% is
people do it. Yeah,
that's a good offer for people.
If it's it's.
If you I know if you get it, it's a good offer. If you don't get it, it's a really, really bad offer.
Exactly.
So,
but I don't know what's going on, and they've again, there's no announcement. If they just 20% discount code, sorry. Do you want to explain what happened? Because everyone's speculating, and if you don't explain what happens, more people are going to speculate. So anyway, so I don't know. I don't really know what's going on, but it doesn't seem good. Actually, there was the Serious Reefs. Serious Reefs did a video on this the other day, and they were talking. It sounds like actually the business itself has been going downhill, like from a customer's point of view. Like, it isn't what it used to be. And Kevin Cohen, who was like the big cheese there, he now works at Quality Marine.
Yeah.
And Quality Marine kind of sound like TMC to me. They do things properly, basically.
Yeah.
So it sounds like nobody, or lots of people have had issues with live aquarium in the last few years, whereas that wasn't the case. So it's gone downhill, and I don't know myself, but it's gone downhill, and now there's issues. I would, if you've got a gift voucher, spend it immediately.
Yeah, oh yes, 100%, because that'll just disappear.
Yeah, but I mean, if you want to part with cash, you've got bigger cojones than I have.
Yeah, I agree.
Other piece of news: there is a thief, Ryan.
Yes. So this actually it's actually from about a month ago, I think. But there seems to be someone who appears to know a little bit about fish keeping that is going to fish shops, and they are offering that they're basically buying over the phone with a credit card. The reason we're doing this is because one of the fish shops, Kettering Aquatics, has actually put something out, but I would say we probably have a larger audience than Kettering Aquatics' Facebook page. They were taken for thousands of pounds, where someone calls up, they ask to order and pay over the phone. Someone then turns up, collects the goods, goes away, and then the transaction, I think, is reversed because it's a stolen card.
Stolen card. And,
I can't guarantee these are exact facts, but you see what I mean. And it's not just one fish shop. So Kettering Aquatics also mentioned that it happened to Para Aquatics. And they also mentioned they tried it another one with someone else. Now, if you are that person and you're listening to this by any chance, like there's something wrong with you. This is a small, tight-knit community where people know that the shops are struggling, and you don't need to steal fish or products. You just don't.
The other thing, so it's card not present transactions is the scam. The card not present transaction scams are common, unfortunately. And one of the real kickers is that most of the time, the merchant, the shop, won't get their money back from the provider, the company that is taking the payment for them. So, because card not present transactions are risky, and usually the terms and conditions say, you're liable if you want to take payments over the phone. You take the risk. So that shop loses the money. This isn't a victimless crime where an insurance company pays out, which, by the way, is still not a victimless crime. But that is a small shop in a tough industry at a tough time, struggling and losing thousands of pounds.
That would have had a significant impact, I think, on any shop that it happens to. I really believe it would have done. I know Kettering Aquatics, they're known for being, I believe, I've never been there myself, but they're a good shop, I believe. And they're also known for being one of the cheaper shops, I think, in the area. And so let's put it this way, if you're one of the cheaper shops and you're buying stuff at the same price as everyone else, your margins are really tight.
You can't afford to lose stuff like this.
No, you have to sell bulk, and that's how it works when you're selling things cheaper. You have to sell to massive amounts of people for a smaller profit. So I felt it was something that is worth talking about, and it's partly for other shops or to warn your local fish shop, because some shops might watch. Unlikely, I wouldn't watch a podcast because I get fed up of dealing with fish all the time. So, like, why would they want to go home and listen to more fish stuff? So I get it why they wouldn't, but it's definitely worth warning your local shop that this is happening, because I'm sure it's like 5 shops it's happened to. and some of them got away with it and some of them didn't.
Yeah.
So
just take care of yourself.
I think they took one of the shops, they took a gem tang and things like that. So you're not taking a gem tang if you're not in the hobby. Like you've got to have somewhere. Like I understand that you could resell it, but it's a bit of a weird thing. If you're gonna take something to resell it, you'd take a product. You'd take a Radion, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You're not going to take a gem tang.
Yeah.
So, and what I do know is that the police have basically said, well, this is based on, you can watch Kettering Aquatics video. It's on their Facebook page. Police, even though there's CCTV footage, went, there's nothing we can do, basically. So yeah, it's I just want to get the word out. So let them know. So it's weird. So Alex knows this. I didn't think this would affect me telling people. I got robbed, didn't I? Not that long ago. In person, in a similar sort of thing. Yeah. Where for 400, actually there was the live stream that I disappeared halfway through. It happened about half an hour before that. And the reason I disappeared was because I couldn't
you said
I couldn't keep going. And no one knew. You didn't know, did you? I hadn't told you. I told you afterwards. But the reason I'm saying this is because it mentally affects you, not just when it happens, but for a long time afterwards. So it is definitely not victimless, I can assure you. So that's it. So
all right. Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I was going to say, unbelievably, despite the fact the police told me I would never get it back, I managed to hunt it down and get it back. So I was one of the lucky ones. It was months of effort, but I managed to get it back. So I was one of the lucky ones. But so
still, there we go.
It's still, even though I did that, it still has left me with a thing going, you can't trust people.
No, it's true.
Anyway, but we'll leave it on that cheery note. Trust no one.
Right. Well, we've run well over, and we haven't even done Fish of the Week, so we're going to do that next week. It's a good one as well. I like it.
Okay.
But yeah, bye.
Right. See you later.